G'day, guys. Welcome back to Supercoach with DR. Hope you've all been well. Firstly, just want to apologise for the lack of content over the last 1 to 2 weeks. I've just been flat out at work. I've been involved in some special projects as well. Got some big news on the way, which I will reveal probably in the next month or two. Doing something with my cousin at the moment, so I'll be really excited to reveal that when it's the right time. Was featured in the Herald Sun this week. I was lucky enough to meet Al Payton. He came out to my school, interviewed me and some of my kids about how we do maths at school using some Supercoach, which has a bit to do with the special project that I'm also involved with. I've also been featured on Weekend Sunrise. I think that's coming up this Saturday if you're keen to watch that. So, yes, super busy. So, apologies, but I do have a bit of a slower next couple of weeks before the start of the season. So I'll be pumping out the content then. But look, what I thought I'd do today is share some of my pre-season game notes. I only watched the 2 games today. I've struggled to watch full games for the last week and a bit. So a lot of catching up to do tomorrow on the Sunday when there's no more games. So I have watched, half the game here and there. So I'll watch the second half, etc. tomorrow. But I did manage to catch the Doggies game today when they took on the Roos. And I also managed to watch the full Demons Tigers game as well. So what I'm going to do today is I'm basically just going to read out all the notes that I've got. It may make sense, it may not, but I basically took notes for every quarter of those 2 games and thought I'd do something a little bit different and basically just share them with you. It's what I do during most games during the season, particularly for the stock market videos. So there's a pad there. There are pages and pages. So hopefully enjoy something a little bit different. And we'll also check out the scores to see how well my thoughts matched up with how players actually went. Already got the scores up here, but obviously these notes were written during the game. As I mentioned, hopefully they make sense. But look, first note I've got here is that Bevo was really impressed with Baker's preseason. I think that was mentioned in the pre-game interview. And, well, didn't he manage to have a terrific match? You'll see lots of notes about Baker specifically here. But first thing got here, Bont got on the end of an English handball. Few long strides, 50-metre goal assist to Baker. Straight on the board there. Jones, 2 intercepts in the first 2.5 minutes. Didn't he look absolutely phenomenal today? LDU, good forward pressure. Close to a push in the back on Richards, but a well-deserved goal nonetheless. Jones, another intercept, hard ball get around the 15-minute mark. Baker, clever tap on, back into play. Really smart game from Baker. Just seemed to be involved in all areas of the ground. Go to nice contest, then blasted out in the full. Jones got here, just big impact early. A lot of notes on Jones as well. Comben just seemed to be easily beaten. I've got here easily beaten early, but that was a bit of a theme for him, I think, throughout the whole match. Baker close to another goal assist to Lob. Just an unlucky bounce. Who have I got here? Solid. McRae, solid, so decent role. McLean hasn't impressed. Sheasel, 2 of his teammates collided, then he picked it up. Yeah, that's right. Got that crumb when the 2 North boys collided, but nice positioning, nice goal there. Really showed his craft up forward, I think, in the first half. Curtis got involved, clever sort of a player, brings that X factor. Jay-Z coming off the back of the square, aggressive type half-back role. He didn't seem to be playing overly well, but I think that he was actually scoring pretty well, which was interesting. So that's a quick summary of quarter 1, which I've got there. Quarter 2, Jay-Z, sloppy launch inside 50 for a lucky goal assist. Jones, another easy intercept in front of Cunnington this time. English touched on the mark when he could have gone for, when he did go for goal, sorry. So possibly some points lost there. What did English get? Only the 75. So maybe you take that into consideration. I'm not too sure. Phillips here seems to come in for the 3rd CBA of the quarter. I noticed that both in the first and second quarters, so maybe a little bit of a pattern there. Cunnington, okay, nothing special. Arthur Jones, cheap rookie for the Doggies there. Andy Cracker's nephew, I've written down here. Look lovely, nice goal in that second quarter. Goda, unlucky free kick for holding Smith. Points lost there. Phillips picked McRae's pocket, which was nice. Left foot for behind, so possibly some points left on the table there without being accurate. Bont, a little bit of a bonus intercept mark, which was nice for his score. Blakely, Baker, lovely. Goal assist to Scott. McLean, very little impact. Looks a little bit rusty. And also LDU, disappointing. I've got Crozier was clean also. So that was some basic first half notes there. Really, really impressed with Baker. McRae's role looked really solid. I didn't have anything about Libba there. Wasn't really watching him, to be honest, but you can see that he was the highest scorer at the end of the day here, but didn't really have any notes about Libba. I wasn't really looking at him in particular, though, but really, really happy with the Bond selection. I've locked him in for a long time now. He's in the side. I'd had Baker locked on my bench basically since day one. He hasn't really moved, so was able to lock him in pretty early, to be quite honest. So pretty impressed with a few of the dogs there. Not so much the Roos. Goda just didn't impress me either. Yeah, didn't really like what I saw from Goda. Just not really involved enough. A few pressure acts, which was nice. And you'll see that he did get a little bit more involved, in my opinion anyway, in the second half of the match. So quarter three, again, we start with Bont inside 50. Next stoppage, clearance, goal, tackle, literally in the first 30 seconds. So that was unbelievable from him. Baker inset mark from a Paul Perez kick. Not a bad kick for a behind. Milked a nice little free as well from Comben. But out of his weight range there. Comben, that's really the only aggression that we saw all day from him. You know, for this big man that was really meant to be giving a really good contest, an aggressive contest, I just didn't rate him. And I think I've got later here in the notes that I wouldn't even consider him as a bench option now. Just had zero impact for mine anyway. McLean, even when he had a bit of time and space, took the wrong option. Easy Logue intercept. Didn't really like what I saw from McLean, particularly early on. English had about 7 disposals in 4 minutes. Inset mark, nice tap on, etc., etc. McLean had a nice crumb just behind those. So he did look nice there, I must admit. Nice little play from him. Just couldn't finish, unfortunately. Goda, nice one-on-one contest. So, as I said, he did put some good pressure on Goda. It wasn't the worst game we've ever seen, but I just doubt his great scoring ability. You know, we need him to get to a 70 plus. Can he do that? I'm just not quite sure. Jones, 3 quick inset marks again, just reading the play so well. Laughed at Turner trying to give Bont the don't argue, holding the ball free to Bont, chip to McRae, led to that Darcy mark highlights, that massive mark from him. He actually looked pretty good, Darcy, and I think he's a bit of a player of the future as well. Really like the look of him. Another one on Goda, worked well into the game as the game went on. LDU didn't impress me at all. Simpkin looking a lot better. I've got here Arthur Jones, very quiet in the third, but did snag a goal late. Love Dale's game, very attacking. So he had a fantastic game, Dale. Certainly a pod, a cheaper price point than those 500-600K players. So can he do it again? Well, Daniel didn't do a lot. Richards was injured. Does that play into things? Did that give him just more opportunity down there? I'm not too sure, but we've had, who was it? AFL Amusement Productions, Cody Waitman's dad, aka, has been on the Dale train for a fair while. So congratulations, mate. Pretty nice pod that you've been on most of the preseason, I believe, anyway, mate. Another Bont goal. I've got here, what a man. Literally got that as well. I'm literally reading everything I've got here pretty much word for word. English and Dale impressive in the third. And I've got here that Bruce looks pretty sloppy. I wasn't overly impressed with Bruce's game. Look, with Gardner out, a couple of injuries down there, he could get an early start, but yeah, didn't really like what I saw from Brucey. And then quarter four, we start with Bont again. So Jeezy had a big impact to start off each quarter. Bont, 2 quick tackles I've got here. One of them, quick touches. Sorry, I can't even read my own writing. Bont, 2 quick touches. One of them a turnover, but all good there. Tommy Powell, nice goal. So this is where Powell really, really came into his own and stepped up here. Sheasel to half back, got involved in the play for a few early chains. Then a bit of a chip hospital kick. Wasn't great, but I like what I saw from Sheasel today, up forward and down back. The price, I'd take him over an Allen and a King for sure, but probably not over a 5 type. I'd rather pay up for a 5, particularly with his early fixture. A clean, strong mark on the boundary versus Jay-Z. 4-5 early touches in the first 5 minutes. Sorry, that's Sheasel. Got an arrow to Sheasel there. McLean looking better, I've got here. Padded the stat sheet with a little 1-2 there. Second possession brought upon a Baz score assist. So did start to get into the game, and yeah, I wouldn't say damaging, but certainly had more of an impact. I'd say that much anyway. Liam Jones, another intercept off a poor Perez kick. So that was a couple of poor kicks from Perez there. Powell, then a nice dribble goal. Phillips inside 50, easy win for Bruce versus Comben. Well, yeah, again, Comben just not impressive whatsoever, in my opinion anyway. Didn't see too much aggression in the actual contest I've got there. Goda, great tackle inside 50, was rewarded and kicked a goal. Goes straight through, and I've got here in typical Kelly Underwood style. Apparently, he hits the post, but straight through the middle there. Not sure what she was on about. Goda and Bergman, I've got look-alike here. Very confusing. There was times where I thought, here we go, here's Goda again, but it was actually Bergman. Don't know if anyone else had the same issue there. Powell, really lively, came into his own in the last. Already mentioned that before, I think. Smart, skillful goal assist to Stevenson. 50-metre penalty against English. Didn't need a play on call, and then had a bit of a fiddle with it. That sounds great, doesn't it? Rated there. Led to a Simpkin goal. Phillips looked great in the CBA in the fourth, combined with Simpkin. Bruce looked okay in the last. So Bruce came into the game. McLean came into the game, I felt, particularly in the last quarter. But yeah, didn't really have much of an impact, I didn't feel, in the first three, particularly in the first half. I've got here that Power really smart, even when tackled, did a nice little spin, little dribble kick to a teammate. Seems to have just good game sense, I think, and good goal sense to go along with that. Could make a great pod. Who's that? Powell, maybe Dale. I think I've got Dale here. Dale could make a good pod. Mentioned that before. McRae was superb, back to his old self, but I think Bont was more damaging. If you're picking out the two, it's Bont and Pelly every day of the week for me. But McRae, I certainly think could be a good pick. And some of my fears were alleviated today. I think Baker did such a great job on the wing that McRae won't spend a heap of time in there. Comben, a couple of nice things the last 2 minutes, but everyone was basically walking around, and kick out the siren, hit the post, which pretty much sums up his day. So they were my notes on the game. It may have been not a heap of detail there, maybe more just play-by-play commentary. I'm not too sure, but yeah, haven't got much on Libbat, as I said, but fantastic game from him. Couple of goals, 33 touches. Bont, only the 27 touches, but you can see 145 points, just super impactful. A couple of goals hit the scoreboard as well. Dale, I mentioned, had a great game. McRae, superb as well. Baz was another one I didn't have too many notes on, but I'm not really interested in him as a selection. Norton, great. Baker, 22 touches, 1 goal, 2. Could have kicked an extra one there. As I mentioned in the notes, a nice kick, just faded slightly towards the end. So that could have been even a 120 plus score. Could you have him on field? Absolutely. I think you can, but there's so many mid-price options. I'm just keeping him on the bench for now. He will be a fantastic moneymaker. So that's all good. Crozier injured, so 53% game time there for a 79. I think we take that. Jones with a 101, 3 figures. A great option for Caulfield. Caulfield just didn't make an impact. Obviously didn't play in the ones this week. Gota, well, what's he get? 46. So for me, Jones is just such a better choice than those two. You're paying a little bit more, but I think it's worth finding the cash for him. Bruce ended with a 61. For his price, it's not the worst. Daniel there with a 72 wasn't too impressive. Darcy, I liked his game. English, only the 75, 83% game time there. Did spend a lot of time in the ruck, so pretty disappointing. That, along with his dodgy preseason, yeah, probably puts me off. I like other ruckmen better at the moment, so I've sort of scratched English, but I wouldn't just be scratching him off that game. If you're keen on him, go for it. Does have a high ceiling and a lot of upside as well, but a risky pick. McLean there, only the 45 points. Richards, the 26. And as well with McLean, that was off 85% game time, so it's not like he didn't get a fair run. That could be slightly concerning. Are there better options than Toby McLean? I didn't think I'd be saying that, but possibly after today's game, it's a question that we need to ask ourselves anyway. On to North very quickly. Simpkin, the 111, I don't think is going to be relevant, but looks so much better than LDU. McDonald with the 3-figure score there, 103. Zeeble was interesting with the 86. As I said, I didn't really rate his game, 80% game time there. Only the 15 touches for 86. So, look, if he can get a few extra kick-ins, he could work out, but do you take him over a Fife, a Bruin? Probably not for me, but look, he could work out. And if you're going really light down back, then it could be worth starting with him for that potential DPP, or almost guaranteed DPP, you'd think, come round 6. Power there, 85. Really, really impressive in the last, but I thought it took him a while to get into things. Didn't attend a heap of CBAs from memory, but was more involved in that fourth quarter. Curtis, bit of X factor, as I mentioned, looked okay. Cunnington, only the 79, 80% game time, 27 touches. So, yeah, a few turnovers there, but he looked okay, but I'm not paying up that much for him. I'm paying either a little bit more or saving 100K and going down, I think. Sheasel, again, talented type play. You could go for him around the 200K mark. Wouldn't blame if you wanted to do that. LDU just didn't look great at all for me. Phillips, only the 48. That's a little bit surprising. I thought he played a little bit better than that. Did some good clearance work, particularly in the second half. So I'm quite happy to start him either as my M8 or possibly even on the bench. There's a high possibility that I actually move him to M9 at this stage after a couple of the other options that have come through over the weekend. Who else we got here? Zerha, injured. Comben, -3. So how's that? A Comben -3. Yeah, he's not a bench option for us anymore. Got a heap of other options here that I think that we can choose from. So that's my quick synopsis of the Bulldogs North game. Let's talk about the Tigers and the Dees. All right, another interesting game here. And I'll tell you what, all the talk for me anyway, particularly once you hear my notes, is Max Gawn. What a phenomenal game we saw from Gawn. The Grundy Gawn combo is going to be terrific for the D's this year. And I tell you what, for solo rucks, they're going to be absolutely run off their feet. They're going to be a tough combo to come up against. I think this could be possibly the best combo that we see of all time. It was really interesting the way that they actually shared the ruck duties. Tom McDonald did a fair bit of rucking in the forward line, which was also interesting. But look, let's get into these notes here. I've got here that Gawn started in the ruck, strong contested mark, only behind though. Then a few seconds later, Crumbs, handball to Oliver, great opening, 1.5 minutes. Hopper, nice inside 50, good kick to Cumberland. Brayshaw, Grundy in for Gawn, Clary. Then Clary started at half back. And is this what Track was actually alluding to a couple of days when he made those comments? Pickett swapped with Track, so Track came in. Gawn doing everything here. Goal, he was starting forward at that stage. Clary, pretty busy early. Taranto, set shot miss. Points missed there. McDonald, 3 early ruck contests. I just mentioned that before. In the Melbourne forward line. Grundy, nice mark leading up on the wing. Pretty impressive from Grundy as well. Nothing like Gawn, but nonetheless, a really solid game from him, as we'll see. Chandler, nice leg. A big launch from outside 50, only behind though. That was a bit of common pattern from Chandler. Missed a few opportunities during the game. Gawn, absolute domination. I've got here, could I? And then, I don't know if you'll be able to see, you probably can't. I've done the old school, the S's down the page. You do the three dashes underneath each other, connect for the S. I just got thinking, is Max Gawn actually an option now? I was seriously considering Jared Witt for an extra 22K with this man's ceiling and what I saw today. I'm actually considering it. I can't believe I'm at least considering it. We have to. Is it too reactionary? Possibly, but this man absolutely dominated today. Laurie, good tap on to Chandler, but again, couldn't finish it. Taranto knows his teammate's strengths. Handball to short for goal outside 50 or a goal attempt. Didn't actually go through though. A nice contested win versus Neil Bullen. This is Taranto, but then just butchered the ball long, kick long, really without looking too much. That led to a Grundy goal. His opponent at that time was Bolter. Haven't really noticed McVee. He was another bloke that was apparently meant to be getting Salem's role in the short term. Just didn't really notice him all game, to be honest. Gone another pack mark in the last 30 seconds, put his big mitts up. That leads to another Grundy mark and goal. So Grundy was on fire, hitting the scoreboard early. And Max Gawn as well, just damaging all over the ground, back forward, and making a great contest in the air, basically, wherever he went. Quarter 2, CBA was Grundy, Harms, Sparrow, and Pickett. And then we had Nank, Prestia, Hopper, and Dow. So Dow actually got a few CBAs during the match as well. So Grundy pushed forward, free kick for holding the ball, then gets a 50 for a goal. Worked hard for the tackle, obviously, but the goal was another gift. So that really impacted his Supercoach score early in a very, very positive way. Dusty, lovely 1v1 contested mark, then a goal. Just too good on that occasion. He'll bob up and have moments like that, but I don't think I'll have enough of him to be Supercoach relevant this year. May have the highest kicking percentage for a player this year, just has a monopoly, and he's another player that was an absolute brick wall, looked great early, May. I don't think that I could select him. I think there'll be a point in time where we'll be able to get him really cheap, or when I say really cheap, cheaper than his starting price anyway, but a real pod, I just think there are too many better options than to consider someone like a Stephen May. Bolter, massive bombs. Don't know what I've got there. Bolter, massive bombs. I'm not too sure. Sorry, that's a bit of an odd one. Gawn, another strong mark. Track Gawn, Oliver in the next 2 CBAs after that. Trento, Hopper, and Stay, Dow, and Bolton then switched over. So Bolton was in the middle from time to time, but didn't see a heap of CBAs. Gorn almost strong mark in front of Nank, gone in the vicinity, but T-Mac rucked again. So it seems like they almost choose to have McDonald there, push Gorn back even to the goal line at times, just so he can be an option there. So that's really, really interesting, the way that they use T-Mac in the ruck. But it seemed to work for Melbourne anyway. It really did seem to work. Dow getting involved. So he had some moments certainly during the game. Gorn close to unstoppable in the air. Prestia injury, unfortunately not surprised there. Clary copping minimal attention. So certainly during the season, he'll cop a lot more attention. Was pretty much just roaming free for most of the match there. Gorn tapped down to Sparrow, score assist. Again, didn't manage to get a goal though. No Rivers mid-time I've got here. So that was floated, I think, by a few people that Rivers may be looking to spend some time in the middle. But from what I saw, I don't think he spent any time there. If he did, it would have been just a little bit of time from my eyes anyway. They're just consistently targeting Gorn. I've got here. Hopper missed a goal, could have done better. So a little bit sloppy there. Sick of writing about Gorn. I've got here. Bloke's best on ground by an absolute mile, even with Grundy's 3 goals. Great contested mark inside 50 for a goal. Hopper, massive mid staple. No matter what he scores, much safer than Warple, Sheed, or Setterfield. So that's just my opinion. He was a little bit sloppy, and I think he only got around 9 touches in the first half. Still scored well, though. It's that contested type ball clearance work, and he's just the CBA king there for Richmond. So I'll be shocked if he didn't have the highest CBA rate out of any player there today. Chandler should have had a free kick and goal in the square. Somewhere hit the post and it was advantage for a goal. So that was a really weird situation in the game. Hopper seems to be in every CBA, just mentioned that. Pretty much every possession looking contested, pretty low possession count though. Clary I've got here just going in second gear, but still finding enough of it. May looking good, track okay, bit sloppy at times, but really coming into the game as well. Nank made Gorn earn one late. 30 seconds later, Marks on the lead. Only a point, but it was his 5th shot at goal. Clary, 2 late clearances. 1 minute 47 to go. Just realised that Ben Brown's playing with a haircut. Well, there you go. Just didn't have an impact, Benny Brown. So first half notes there. Got a few less in the third here. Must have lost interest a little bit, after watching a couple of games in a row. Does get a little bit harder, getting distracted by the little fella. Don't even know how long this video's gone for either. But quarter 3, Gorn, Clary, Cozzy, and Sparrow in the CBA. This is the first CBA. Nank, Cochin, Bolton, and Hopper. Hopper decided to lay it off instead of go for a goal from 50. Not sure about that decision. So he did have a couple of opportunities to go for goal, but did decide to lay it off. Both, I think, were in kickable distance. Maybe I'm overrating his kicking distance. I'm not too sure, but yeah, pretty unselfish there, I think, from Hopper. Gorn, brick wall, contested inset mark from that entry I've got there. So it must have been from that previous entry I was talking about. Then next contest basically grabs it out of the ruck. Track, very unselfish, another assist there. Cozzy, great step for a goal. Torrento out in the full, but great contest and was under pressure. Dow, 50-metre goal gift I've got there. Clary, preseason goal of the season contender. Remember, if you're watching the game, just burst out of the middle there, just went a little bit too far. I think it was like a left foot snap and just absolutely butchered the kick, but that could have been absolutely fantastic there. Rioli nailed Clary, so love that. And then I think not long ago, after that, was it Grundy? A couple of other players absolutely nailed Rioli as a bit of payback, which I absolutely love seeing that sort of stuff. Then another set shot goal from Cozzy missed. I've got good aggression, nice mark on lead behind, another behind there. Laurie, a couple of smart things, a couple of nice things, but didn't have a huge impact on the actual stat sheet. Gone little smother inside 50. I've got here just setting the standard. So absolutely setting the standard, doing little things was the captain Gorn. Chandler again missed a set shot. Can he finish? Or, yeah, is this something that is going to be a concern for us? Because with someone like a Chandler, and I think I've got it written down here or maybe on the next page, he's not a really high possession type player. So he's someone that really does need to make the most out of every opportunity that he does get. So that is a little bit concerning, the fact that he wasn't kicking too accurately there. Taranto robbed of a goal assist with a Bolton set shot. Still a goal assist, I think. Brayshaw, low impact. Wasn't really impressed with him. But did get a little bit more involved late in the third, particularly early in the fourth. Not long after, another long kick inside 50 to Lynch on the siren. That was Taranto as well. So, yeah, I certainly did like Taranto's game. A little bit sloppy at times, but we know what we're getting with the Taranto selection. And then quarter four, last one here. McVee should have received a free. Can't remember that, to be honest. Brayshaw, better late in the third, early in the fourth. I thought I'd written that down. Just mentioned that before. Chandler mentioned need to make the most out of every opportunity. Can't waste any. I've got here if Nank goes down, Samson Ryan could actually be relevant. So he got involved in the game in the last quarter. Was that because everyone else is buggered? I'm not too sure, but it shouldn't have had too much of an impact in the ruck going against Gawn and Grundy, given the fact that they did share duties and you've got McDonald even in a fair few contests as well. So pretty impressed with what I saw from Samson Ryan. A couple of errors, a couple of mistakes as well. Not a great kick for goal, but yeah, nonetheless, yeah, thought he did some good things anyway. Track, very unselfish type of a game from him. So that's always good to see from Track. Clary saw, don't know what happened. That was with about 10 minutes left. And I've got here, came back on 2 minutes later. Then Track gave Chandler his fourth chance to convert. Finally gets it through the big sticks, which was nice. Hopper saw on the ground. Again, didn't see what happened, but he seemed fine. I don't think there's anything at all to worry about that. Limping through the middle of the ground. Class finish by Track here. I've got here a very solid day from him. Grundy, much more ruck time in the fourth quarter as well. So Gawn sort of sat back a little bit more. Still put in a pretty good effort, but was really, able to go sort of in second, third gear, particularly in that fourth quarter. Not to say that he gave up at all. He, put the pressure on from, start to finish with that game. Really, really did absolutely lead the way. Another Gawn assist to Spargo. There we go. Max Gawn again. Taranto consistent throughout all four quarters. Long kick from 45. Clary turnover led to that goal. Points lost from that. So another thing you may consider when you're looking at his score there. That was his 30th disposal as well there. Cochin got some late CBAs. I've got there. Samson Ryan has some potential. Can he find a spot up forward? Probably not at this stage. But again, if Nank goes down, could certainly be an option there. Impressed more than Soldo in the short time that he was on. Cosy assist, so clever. Clary finish from Hunter. Clever or classy finish from Hunter. Taranto stood up well in a few tackles. So that's another thing. He just looks super strong. I don't know if you can see that there. So, Taranto looks super strong there. So really good in the core. We know that he won the time trial. So I think he's an absolute lock on our sides. We'll talk about his score in a little bit because, again, I didn't have any idea with the scores here. I think I looked a couple of times as the game went on, but not a heap there. Gawn Grundy combo, unreal for Melbourne. Who have we got here? Basically took the last quarter off. I'm not too sure what I wrote there. Sorry. Ruling out McVee, unsighted for high time on ground. Chandler could have scored around a 70, but just didn't make the most of his opportunities. But the fact that he did get some opportunities, I think there was 4, potentially 5 all up, is actually a good sign. So if he kicks 2 to 3 of those, then he gets you a pretty decent score, I think. So I did like Chandler, but just his finishing was a little bit off today. Taranto Hopper, only relevant Supercoach options from Richmond for me. And we'll go through some of these plays and scores in a little bit before I let you go. Gawn dangerous wherever he plays, much better game than Grundy. Brayshaw won't be close enough to be a top 6 for his price. Had a better second half, but not enough value there, I don't think. And we got a question mark. Is Clary worth the cash? He hasn't really left my side too often during the preseason, but there are certainly some other options in the midfield now. And I've looked to potentially change up my structure a little bit. Nothing based off Clary, but I'll do a team reveal probably within the next 3 to 5 days, I think, anyway. But look, they are my practice match notes for for Melbourne and the Tigers. You can see Gawn here, 153. Belliot didn't even notice it for 120, so can't really comment on that. And I watched the whole game, so 19 touches, must have really used it well. I'm not too sure there. May was really good for 117, Track for 114, all good. McDonald, possibly that extra ruck time. I gave him a bit of a scoring boost there, potentially something to look at, but I couldn't go there. Hunter, pretty solid, almost got 3 figures. Oliver, the 95, but 31 touches there, 85% time on ground. I still think it's fine to select Oliver, but he's pretty expensive, isn't he? I'm definitely going Laird if I'm selecting one of the two, but still on my side at the moment. Oliver, don't know if he will be come round 1. Pickett there got a 90, so much more midfield time as mooted. Only the 14 touches, 1 goal, one, but extremely damaging. Something seems to happen every time he gets the ball. Grundy there for an 80, so I'd assume that he would have been on, geez, it must have been, what, 50 to 60 odd at half time, particularly after those 3 goals. So, given the fact he spent a fair bit of time in the ruck in the fourth quarter, that's a pretty disappointing score. Only the 10 touches, but we'll look at his time on ground there, only the 69%. Surely that's got to go up. I don't know exactly how they're going to use him there, but I suppose that time on ground, yeah, a decent enough score. Do you select him? I just couldn't. I don't think he's not going to score 3 goals every week. Surely not. But yeah, a decent game nonetheless from him. Going down, Sparrow, Chandler 46. Yeah, just okay. Already mentioned could have been higher. Laurie on the 17. Couple of good things, but more tap-ons rather than disposals. Woe Woden, don't know much about him. Baker with 132, 36 touches. Look, I couldn't go there whatsoever. But yeah, really impressive score from him. Torrento, 33 touches, 1 goal, one for a score of 124. He's a pretty easy lock for just over 500k. Not a lot of discussion needed there. We should all have him, I think. Hopper, 93. That's pretty much all we need from Hopper, to be quite honest. If he gets to 3 figures for an average, that's a real bonus. But if he can just do a 90, just say 5 to 100, fantastic. That's an absolute win. So pretty happy with that. And then the scores just start to drop off, don't they? 78 and below from short down. I don't think we need to talk a lot about these players. They are pretty impressive there through 73. Bolter, Clark, Tops, Cochin. Yeah, pretty irrelevant players there. So really the only blokes we're looking at from a Richmond standpoint is Taranto and Hopper. No one else surely is going to be relevant. And I think that most teams, most serious teams, will have both Taranto and Hopper, but some may prefer saving a bit of cash, going a Warple instead of a Hopper. I just think that his job security, his role is much safer than some of the other blokes, and he's going to be the main CBA man there for Richmond for the 2023 season and probably for the next 5 years as well. But they're just my thoughts, guys. Thank you very much again for tuning in. And thanks again. I haven't even mentioned this for 4K subscribers. We finally got there. It's just been amazing, all the support. I'll do a separate video and thank all the members. I need to do that. That's been long overdue as well. So look, I've probably been banging on for a long time, so I won't go too much into this, but thank you again, guys. I really, really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed listening to some of my notes. There they are there. Pretty messy writing. I normally do have better writing as a teacher there. You might be able to see in the Herald Sun article and possibly in the Sunrise exclusive that will be airing, I think, this Saturday on the weekend as well. So that's it for now, guys. Stay tuned for lots more content in the next couple of weeks. I'm getting pretty pumped. I'm a little bit nervous going into round one because I still need to tinker a little bit with my side. Still got a couple of 50-50 decisions, but hopefully after chatting with a few legends in the community over the next couple of weeks, some of the answers to those questions may become a little bit clearer. So that's it for now, guys. All the best, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers, bye.